Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. So, SIVENATHI Nontshinga wins the rematch against ADRIAN Curriel. He regains the IBF light-flyweight title that he lost back in November last year. He got flattened in 2 rounds. This time he stops Curriel, becomes the first man to stop Curriel, and he does it in the 10th round in an absolute phone booth war. Brilliant fight. And it honestly looked for most of the fight like Curriel was going to win. Nontshinga, for some reason, he spent almost all of the first 8-9 rounds on the ropes. I have no idea why. He would go to the ropes. He was countering quite well. He was landing his own punches, but Curriel must have thought all his Christmases had come early. He was whacking away. He was having, most of the time, he was having the last word in the exchanges. And it looked like Nontshinga was just going to be outworked and probably lose on points. Now, having said that, Nontshinga, when you consider he was knocked flat in 2 rounds, only, 4 months ago, to go straight back in there with the opponent in the opponent's home country, because this was in Mexico, he appeared to have a lot of confidence, and he wasn't shy about locking horns with Curriel for all of the fight and firing his own punches. He worked the body quite well. They both whacked to the body, but I think Curriel, if I'm being pernickety, I'd have said he perhaps should have concentrated more on the body. He was headhunting a bit. He probably had it in his mind, I can really hurt this guy. I've knocked him out before. And he was, for the most part, outworking Nontshinga on the ropes. Although Nontshinga, like I say, was landing his own punches. It's not like he was just being manhandled. He was voluntarily going to the ropes. And Gabe Rosado, who was commentating, was infuriated. He was like, "Get off the ropes! Get off, you put some space between you." Because on the rare occasions when there was space between the two fighters, Nontshinga was landing. He was threading together some real nice combinations and keeping Curriel honest, keeping him on the back foot, pushing him back. But for some reason, I think he was trying to maybe draw the sting of Curriel. And neither man looked really hurt until I think it was the 8th round, when there was a little bit of space between them. And Nontshinga managed, I think it was a right hand, and it did sting Curriel. It was noticeable that Curriel there was a sort of jarring effect on him. But then it was normal service resumed. Back goes Nontshinga to the ropes, locking horns. I mean, for most of the fight, they locked horns and just, it was inside fighting all the way. Brilliant fight to watch. Really, really great fun. In the 7th round, Nontshinga had a point taken off for a headbutt. And that was, I thought it was a bit harsh. I'd have to look back at it. I always make these videos sort of immediately after I've watched the fight, because I want my first reactions to be what's in the review. I don't like the idea of going back and watching it a few times and then pretending that I'd noticed everything the first time, because you never do when you watch a fight. It's like the judges, they only get one shot at it, and it's in live time. But I mean, I think I don't know what the scorecards were. I can't believe Nontshinga was winning this fight going into the 10th round. But suddenly, it was in the 9th round. Yeah, in the 9th round, that's when Nontshinga really started to let his hands go, and he badly hurt Curriel, I think, with a long left hook. And Curriel at the end of the 9th was all over the place. He was badly shaken. He wasn't firing back. He was on the ropes, and suddenly Nontshinga was putting it on him. The bell goes for the end of the 9th, and you're thinking, as he turned it round, can Curriel recover in the minute's rest? They came out, and within 25 seconds, Curriel was hurt again. The crowd was silent, big, boisterous Mexican crowd, really, looking forward to this fight, their new champ. They were silent because Curriel got pushed to the ropes. He wasn't firing anything back. There was, I think, in the 10th round, the referee called it a knockdown because the ropes supposedly held Curriel up. I thought the ref could have stopped it at that point, but he gave Curriel a 10 count. Fair enough. Nontshinga jumped all over him again, battered him along the ropes into the corner, and I think the referee stopped the fight. Yeah, I think Curiel, if he wasn't in the corner, then he was near it, but he was defenceless. It was a good stoppage. Good bit. Actually, the referee did really well in this fight. Very, very good. Mark, someone, I can't remember his bloody name. Yeah, anyway, he did a good job, whoever he was. So it's 1-1 now. It's 1-1. And inevitably, people will say, Curiel got his revenge. Okay, did he? Not Curiel, Nontshinga got his revenge. That's what people will say. Well, actually, Curiel knocked him flat in the first fight, in the second round. And yes, Nontshinga has come back and stopped Curiel. But what is the obvious example if it's 1? What is the obvious choice if it's 1-1? A rubber match, a rematch, like we used to do in the old days. Like, I grew up watching rubber matches in the 90s and the 80s. Bo Holyfield and Morales, Barrera, and so on. Look, these seem to have gone out the window because to me this is 1-1. This is 1-1, and in fact, Curiel stopped Nontshinga quicker. So Nontshinga should be saying, "All right, give me a third fight, a decider." I don't like this. Well, the second guy who won, the person that won the second fight has gained revenge. Well, no, you've evened the score essentially, but it's still 1-1. So a third fight, whether it's in Mexico or not, I don't know. Don't really care where it is. The Mexican fans are great. I mean, they really are terrific. So I got no problem with it being in Mexico. If Nontshinga wants to take Curiel back to South Africa, he's from, I can't remember, is it called East London in South Africa? It's a place called East London. But if it's over in South Africa, fine. Take it, but have a third fight. Will Eddie Hearn go for it? I don't think so. He promotes Nontshinga. But SIVENATHI Nontshinga, he deserves respect for the way that he mentally and emotionally handled coming off that very bad defeat quite recently and grinding down Curiel. I mean, he took the scenic route, to put it mildly. He could have made it easier for himself by fighting longer. But I don't know, maybe he drew Curiel's sting. But Nontshinga's a good fighter, very good fighter. And he didn't appear hurt at all at any point in this fight, which really surprised me. I thought Curiel would grind down Nontshinga and stop him in about 8, 9, 10 rounds. Evidently, the opposite was true. But he was fighting the fight. Curiel was fighting the type of fight I expected. And this was the first time he was stopped, Curiel. So Nontshinga deserves a lot of credit. By the way, they're both only 25 years old. And I know light flyweights, they mature quicker, supposedly. But make no mistake, Curiel is still a good fighter. He can come back, definitely come back. Maybe try and tighten up the defence a little bit. And Nontshinga's back on track now. He's got a win over the guy who beat him. And he's now 13 wins with 10 KOs, 1 defeat, the 1 defeat to Curiel. Curiel slips to 24 wins and 5 defeats and 1 draw. But both are only 25 years old. Both can come back. I don't see why not. So what do you think of this fight? I really enjoyed it. It was on DAZN. Again, Mexican crowd was great. I love the Mexican cards. I love Mexican fighters. I really do love them. Mexicans and the Japanese are my favourite. If I had to put a gun to my head, I had to say who are my favourite nationalities for boxing. Probably the Mexicans and the Japanese are brilliant as well. But give me your comments about this fight. Let me know. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the like button as well. It takes a second, costs you nothing, and you're helping the channel out by doing that. So I really appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Thank you very much, and bye for now.